how much of this business is about the experience? Meaning, when you walk into Max and Mina's, firstly, everything is going on all over the place. It's a very exciting store, and then, you know, you see all these. You're like excited to see, what kind of fancy flavors are there going to be? What's going to be the next thing? And they're also like, the staple things like, my personal favorite, SpongeBob flavored. So do you think a lot of it is about the experience, or do you think it's about the flavor? What do you think is really what drives your success?
So it's twofold and it's threefold. It's, one, it's really, it ends with the ice cream. So if the ice cream is not going to be really spectacular, then that same pattern, hype only lasts a certain amount of time. You can only hype something a certain amount of time. If something doesn't live up to the quality of your of what you're looking for, and that's why I'm very, that's one of the beauties of me working the scoop shop. I've been working the scoop shop, and I love it. And one of the beauties is when people come in, and I basically they ask me, what do I recommend? That's not what I recommend. What do you like? Everything up there, other than 3 or 4 flavors, are self-explanatory. I don't know. What are you in the mood for? Your mood, listen, I understand that stimuli and the environment are going to affect the way you approach a product. But the most important thing is internally. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't like baklava, then you're not going to like the baklava jam. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I have that flavor's legit. It's there right now. You're not going to like that. So you really have to, it's up to really the really smart customers. What they do, they come in and they look at the board and they start processing what's there. It's unfortunate. There are people who come in and they want to look at the flavor and they don't even know what they're looking at, because 95% of the time they're not guessing it right. Like aesthetically, I know things are very important aesthetically, but what we base our formula is based on how it tastes and what experience that's going to bring to your mouth and to your mind at that moment. And even if it's just a taste and you don't even order it, that's my goal. My goal is for it to be authentic and for it to be like, so now I had somebody come in, and then I had somebody come in today who does commercials, and he does all these productions, and he says to me, he's buying 4 pints of ice cream in a single scoop. And he's buying all 4. He bought a baklava jam. He bought some really wild flavors, some really exceptionally wild flavors. And he says to me, he goes, I love your new wall. I'm like, which wall? He goes, I have cereals on the wall that I've been collecting. And it's been up probably at least 3 years. I go, it's been there like 3 years. He goes, oh, I just noticed it. And this is a guy who does commercials. He shoots things. He does, big shoots that he does and in production. And I said, maybe, I said, I do change the boxes, and something could all of a sudden trigger your eyes, your stimuli to look elsewhere. But, he thought I changed it up. On a daily basis, I have people coming in. I have people who just come in and want to look and just experience the ambiance. The ambiance is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So the ambiance is phenomenal. And sometimes for some kids, actually, I haven't had too many lately, but it can be overload for some. But it's an amazing experience because there's things all over to trigger. The way I sum it up is there's the past, there's the present, and there's the future. And what do I mean by that? There's the past. I have my 1976 New York Yankee program hanging up in there that I got. That I have my Mad magazines that I collected that are laminated. I have stuff from my father that he gave me that are up there. I have my father gave me stuff from the Brooklyn Dodgers, 1949. I have hanging up there. Stuff that is of value that you could sell and make money. But my idea was I wanted a living museum. What I do is I take a heavy laminate, I take a 5mm sheet and I laminate it, which gives it protection. But I want an interactive thing. The value, what good is something in a box where you don't, people have Sports Illustrated in their boxes. I have Sports Illustrated pictures all over the place, in the back room, in the front, all over. I have all these classic images from the past. Then I have the present, which is a lot of the cereal flavors, that are currently being offered. I just hung up the new chocolate churros. I hung up the Dunkaroos, and that's kind of really cool. It's like the Wall of Hall of Fame, which is kind of like the past, but it's also the present. The Dunkaroos is raging, and then there's the present. And then there's the future. And what's the future? The future is I have all these sayings there. I have all these things with words. And what the words do is that you might not even realize that you're reading it. And you might realize, or you might read one word or two words. What it does is it triggers your mind in the future to think about something, to reflect, to look at something a little bit differently. And that's the whole idea in life, really, is to get people. I just put something on the other day that someone called us better than Disney World. Like, I mean, that's an amazing, for a brand to be called that. Like, this was a dressmaker. I mean, you can't get better than that. And that's what's